Hi everybody, this is Y with Shenanigans with the Burgs. I want to welcome you to my channel. If you're returning, thank you, and if you're new, welcome, welcome. I hope you enjoy the video. Hi guys, Y here with Shenanigans with the Burgs, and I am getting ready to kit up. I'm doing two two events this month. The first one is Paint with Friends, and I've already done that kit up video. This one is with Rhinestone Goddess Creations, and it is a mental health awareness event, and this is the canvas that I'm doing. To me, it's very reminiscent of Tiana, Disney's Princess Tiana. So that's what I'm going to do. And so I am getting ready to kit up this video, but I did pull some statistics about mental health from the internet that I thought that I would read to y'all. Some of them are pretty amazing statistics. And I don't mean amazing in a good way. I mean mind-blowing. But first, I just want to say, if you or someone you know is experiencing a mental health condition, help is available and accessible for everyone, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can text 988 and someone will help you. Or you can chat online at 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline's website for free, confidential, and immediate help. You can also call 1-800-662-HELP. That's 1-800-662-HELP 4357 to access the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration 24/7. So please, mental health is real, people. It is real. A lot of people play it off like it's nothing, but it is a real thing. And if you or someone you know is suffering from a mental health issue, please seek some help for them. There is help out there, and that's what these people do. They just want to help. So let's get to kitting up this gorgeous canvas. So here we are getting ready to kit up this beautiful canvas. I've already labeled the vials and taken the lids off of them so that it would be easier for me to just pour them in. Here are all the drills. There are some ABs and some shimmers in here. This is going to be a lot of fun. You can see it's a lot of green and green tones. Here is the canvas, the actual canvas. So it is reminiscent of Disney's Tiana. I love it, absolutely love it. It's a 55 by 75. It is called Glowing Fairy by Cindy Emery. And I purchased this through Rhinestone Goddess Creations. You can find her on Facebook at Rhinestone Goddess Creations, or you can email her here, rhinestonegoddess22@yahoo.com. There's still time if you want to get in on this event, this mental health awareness event. She does have a curated list of, well, it might be too late actually by now, but she has a folder that has curated list of canvases that qualify for this event. And she customizes all of them, so they're made to order, and it's probably too late to get in on it now, but keep her in mind for the next time. So let's get this bag opened. So my friend Jen at Jen Paints with Diamonds, Jen with one N, Jen Paints with Diamonds, we went in on our order together. Rhinestone was having this amazing sale, so we each got 3 canvases in that deal, and this was one of mine. So let's pull some of these out and get them ready. All right, so hers are all in order, number order. You can just work right out of the bag if that so fits your style. I very much prefer to be in a container. So I am going to move all of these bags to a container. So let's get to some of these statistics that I found on the internet. I just did a search. This is from Forbes magazine, so it's a pretty reputable site. It says millions of Americans experience symptoms of a mental health condition each year. That doesn't mean that everybody has a psychotic event. It just means that people have some form of depression or whatever, a mental health condition. And the number of people seeking care is trending upward because we've made it a point, America's got it right. Mental health is a real thing, and people should take it very seriously. Mental health is everything. So that would make sense that more people are seeking treatment than ever before. While a mental health diagnosis may impact an individual's daily life, it can also have a ripple effect across families, communities, and even economies. So here's a closer look at some of the current state of mental health, including how many people experience mental health conditions and which populations are most at risk. So I'm not sure if you can see me. So let me move my camera just a hair. All right, that may be better. Okay, so number 4. All right, so here we go with some statistics. Some you may feel like you knew that already, and some of them you may find disturbing or whatever. So let's start with 23.1% of U.S. adults experienced a mental health condition in 2022. That's 23% of adults. That's a pretty high number. And 6% of U.S. adults experienced a serious mental health condition in 22, which is often defined as a psychotic disorder, bipolar disorder, or severe anxiety or eating disorder that significantly impairs functioning. Wow, 6%. That's it doesn't seem like much, you guys, but 6%, that's 1 in 6. I mean, yeah, not 1 in 6, 6. So in 2022, 32.9% of adults experienced both a mental health condition and substance abuse. So 32.9% of those who suffer with that and a substance abuse. So accordingly, 5.2 million veterans experienced a behavioral health condition in 2022. 5.2 million veterans. Oh my gosh, people, that is incredibly high. Now, I work for a veterans organization, and I know that veterans are very susceptible to mental health disorders, and I feel like we as a society aren't doing enough to help them. But that's my 2 cents worth. As of 2020, suicide was the second leading cause of death in U.S. children ages 10 to 14, preceded only by unintentional injury. Wow, 10 to 14, that's young. That's really young to be suffering in that kind of a way. 10 years old, I mean, I can remember when my children were 10, and That's the last thing that I would have thought that would be on their minds was, ending their lives. Oh my goodness. So, the impact depression and anxiety has on the global economy can be measured in $1 trillion in lost productivity each year. 1 trillion. That's a lot of bucks. That's a lot of bucks. $1 trillion worth of lost productivity. In 2021, 51.7% of U.S. women received mental health services, while only 40% of men received mental health services. 51.7, that's pretty high. So I'm seeing a trend here. Young adults aged 18 to 25 in the U.S. have the highest rate of experiencing any mental health concerns compared to adults 26 to 49, with the highest rates being with the highest rate at 11.4. So 18 to 25, it's 33.7%. Women are diagnosed with serious mental health conditions at higher rates than men. Possibly because, this is just my thoughts on this, possibly because men don't seek treatment as often as women would seek treatment. But women are diagnosed with serious mental health conditions at higher rates than men. The percentage of U.S. adults receiving mental health treatment rose from 19.2% in 2019 to, oh, sorry, I dropped some drills, to 21.6% in 2021. So this is a pretty recent article. 14. Where's 14? I don't know where 14 is. So let's go on to 15. All right. So the coronavirus pandemic led to increased diagnosis of depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation. Let's see if they have a reason for that. Mental health, the person who said that, they attribute the rising rates of mental health diagnoses in both the destigmatization of treatment and its increased accessibility. Talking about mental health does not cause or increase mental health. Remember that. I sure hope we come back and find that number 14. All right, so talking about mental health does not cause or increase mental health issues or diagnosis, but rather allows for individuals to seek help in lower level care. Like, maybe all you need is a friend to talk to. Maybe it's not important that you seek professional help. And just being open and honest about mental health can be enough to help somebody. Let's say I'm talking about my experience with mental health, and somebody else hears that and they realize, wow, it's not just me. And maybe that can open the door for conversations or options, things that are available, what helped you, how did you deal with this, so talking about it can be a really good tool to help not just yourself, but other people as well. So I found that 14, it was tucked in there somewhere it wasn't supposed to be. It was out of order. So let's hurry up and fill that one. And there we go. So now we're on 19. Okay, so here's a look at the rates mental health conditions. The rates of mental health conditions across different populations. So nationally, 23.1% of U.S. Americans, 59.3 million Americans, experienced a mental health condition. Worldwide, due to COVID-19, the number of anxiety and depression orders grew. Depressive disorders grew. Depressive symptoms grew from a base of adults of about 193 million people to 246 million people, which is about 28%. Anxiety disorders grew from about 298 million people affected to 374, which is about a 25% increase. That seems high to me. Mental health statistics by gender. More than 1 in 5 women in the U.S. experienced a mental health condition last year. So we're talking post-pandemic. That's a lot of women that have had not a psychotic, but a mental health condition. Certain mental health conditions like depression and bipolar affect more women than men. So that makes sense then. In fact, the prevalence of any mental health illness was higher among women, 27.2%, than men at 18.1% in 2021. Again, that could be attributed to the fact that women are feelings driven, and if it doesn't feel right, we're going to seek help. And over 6 million men in the U.S. experience depression each year. Men are more likely to report symptoms such as fatigue, irritability, and loss of interest in work or hobbies rather than feelings of sadness or worthlessness. So, like I said, part of that is women are feelings oriented and men are not. And that could be why there's such a big difference between men and women as far as mental health conditions go. 19.1 million adults in the U.S. aged 19 to 54 experience an anxiety disorder, and more than 3 million men experience panic disorder, agoraphobia, and other phobias. Agoraphobia? I don't know how to say that. I think it's agoraphobia. 90% of individuals diagnosed with schizophrenia by age 30 are men. That I did not know. I did not know that more men were diagnosed with schizophrenia than women. Men account for approximately 10% of patients who experience anorexia or bulimia, and 35 of those who experience a binge eating disorder. Men are less likely to seek professional help for an eating disorder than women. Again, we're back to that. Men aren't feeling oriented, so Women who have anorexia or bulimia can sometimes be eating their feelings, because women are feelings oriented. So yeah, mental health statistics by age. So young adults 18 to 25 in the U.S. experience the highest rate of mental illness at 36.2%, followed by those aged 26 to 49 at 29.4%, and adults aged 50 and over 13.9%. So here's a thought, like if you had a mental health condition in your 20s, so would you also be counted in that number when you were in your 30s, or do you get counted as you go up? I mean, I don't quite understand how that works, because if you have a mental health condition and it's let's say it's untreated, you would have that into your 50s, your 60s, whatever. Okay, mental health statistics by race. In 2022, multiracial adults in the U.S. were more likely to experience any mental illness in the last year. More likely to experience any, not many, any mental health issue in the past year. So I wonder if it tells us why. Other rates of mental illness among racial and ethnic groups include whites at 24.6, Hispanic at 21.4, blacks at 19.7, American Indian or Alaska Native 19.6%, Asian 16.8%. Interesting. So now we are getting into the LGBTQIA plus community. 50.2% of Americans who identify as lesbian, gay, or bisexual experienced a mental health condition in 2020. Oh, come on. This one wants to be obstinate here. Okay. Getting back to the statistics. LGBT adults are more than twice as likely to experience a mental health condition than heterosexual adults. Transgender adults are nearly 4 times more likely to experience a mental health condition than those who are cisgender. 86% of the LGBTQ youth report had being harassed or assaulted in school in 2019, which may significantly impact one's mental health. Well, of course. Only 37% of LGBTQ youth identified their home as an identity-affirming space in 2022. In 2022, yeah. Only 37%. So there are still parents who are non-accepting from that statistic. That's what I read. And then those in the LGBTQ community are at higher risk of experiencing mental health conditions, particularly depression and anxiety. Interesting. But it doesn't tell you why. It just gives you the statistic. Of course, that is what I asked for when I did my search, so I'm getting exactly what I asked for. The prevalence of specific mental health conditions. So, here's a look at how individuals across the U.S. are affected by mental health conditions. So, anxiety. Anxiety disorders such as generalized anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder, and panic disorder are some of the most commonly diagnosed mental health conditions in the U.S., affecting 42.5 million adults. That's really high. That's a really high number. Like I said in the beginning, mental health is real. People need to be aware and talk and open up about your experiences with mental health and hopefully help somebody else. But brushing it off like it's no big deal is just wrong. Mental health is real, and these statistics are showing it. 42.5 million people were affected by some form of anxiety. Yeah, that's a high number. But on the other side of that is it can be treated. These things, they have come such a long way. All of this is treatable, absolutely treatable. So if you or someone you know is in need of help, help is available. Depression. 21 million U.S. adults are living with depression, while 3.7 million people aged 12 to 17 experience major depression, and 2.5 million people aged 12 to 17 experience severe depression. But again, it doesn't have any more detailed information as to like why would this age group be suffering such severe diseases, mental health. Okay, so PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. There are 12 million U.S. adults living with PTSD. PTSD is a thing. Let me tell you, coming from a military family, it is a thing. And then bipolar disorder, 3.3 million U.S. adults experience bipolar disorder. Schizophrenia, 1.5 million U.S. adults have been diagnosed with schizophrenia. And so mental health in the criminal justice system. An estimated 2 million times each year, people with serious mental health conditions are jailed or imprisoned in the U.S. Women are disproportionately impacted as twice the rate as men. I wonder if a mental health issue has caused women to do something that gets them incarcerated. I don't know this to be fact. I'm just reading. For this population, incarceration may exacerbate pre-existing symptoms. So let's say exacerbate, that's the word. let's say you already had some form of mental health issue, and if you were confined, say confined to a jail cell or something of that nature, that would exacerbate the issue. So frequently, individuals who are incarcerated receive inadequate medical care and mental health treatment. This lack of access to proper care can result in conditions worsening over time. The stigma this population faces from staff and peers may lead to further psychological distress. In fact, 63% of incarcerated individuals who have mental health conditions do not receive treatment. And for non-white individuals, their diagnosis has put them at greater risk for solitary confinement, injury, and longer sentences. So there is some truth to that. Maybe it's because they aren't getting the care they need, or maybe they are incarcerated because of something they did while they were having a psychotic break or something. So, the trauma and stress associated with incarceration. Oh, come on. Have a potential snowball effect, exacerbating exacerbating existing conditions and potentially contributing to new diagnoses such as depression, anxiety, PTSD, and substance abuse. According to the National Alliance of Mental Health, individuals with mental health conditions are more likely to experience incarceration. Additionally, those who have health care coverage following their release, and presumably the access to mental health services that it affords, may have less risk of recidivism. Okay. Mental health treatment stats. Mental illness is a disease. So you can't just tell somebody to get their head straight, because mental health is a real thing. And telling somebody to get their head straight is not helping them. It is a disease like any other health condition. Individuals need support, intervention, and continued care to address their symptoms. In discussing matters of mental health, we're helping decrease stigma and pave the way for individuals to communicate their experiences and symptoms to their healthcare providers. That's kind of like what I was saying about we need to be real with our friends and, listen when somebody is talking, because they might just really need somebody to listen. And then, so the statistics, by asking for mental health support, including online therapy, and gaining access to affordable resources may be two separate issues, as recent trends in mental health treatment suggest. Take a look at these U.S. statistics, for example. While the percentage of U.S. adults receiving mental health treatment increased from 19.2% in 2019 to 21.6% in 2021. 42% of U.S. adults with diagnosable condition reported in 2023 that they could not afford to access the treatment they needed. Oh my goodness, excuse me. That sneeze came out of nowhere, people. Not sure where it came from, but it came. So I'm so sorry about that. So, yeah, 42% of U.S. adults can't afford their mental health treatments. That's pretty high. All right, so 93.5% of adults with a substance abuse disorder did not receive treatment in the past year. 10% of youth covered by private insurance did not have access to mental health services in 2022. Mental health and the community. Destigmatizing mental health issues increases connection with others. Okay, let me get this in the bag and I'll finish that sentence. Connection with others, helping communities support one another. That communities with more mental health resources can help. Communities with more mental health resources help ease the strain on first responders and emergency personnel. Here's a look at how mental health issues impact our communities in the U.S. 1 out of every 8 emergency room visits involves mental health. 1 in 8. Or substance abuse. Okay, mental health or substance abuse. Mood disorders such as depression, bipolar drive most hospitalizations for Americans under the age of 45, adjusting for pregnancy and childbirth. So then we have, among individuals experiencing housing insecurity, 21.1% have a serious mental health condition. And the majority of youth, 70%, in juvenile detention centers have been diagnosed with mental health disorder. It's a real thing. Mental health is a real thing. Okay, so the cost of mental health. I don't know why this doesn't want to fit. Uh-oh. 50. All right. Severe mental health conditions cost the U.S. economy $193.2 billion. That's billion with a B. In lost revenue each year. In 2022, around $280 billion were spent on mental health service facilities, with Medicaid providing approximately a quarter of those funds. Meanwhile, the global mental health market has valued at 381. Where are we at here? 51. 381.31 billion in 2020 and is expected to reach 537.91 billion by 2030. Wow, that's going to double, almost, pretty close, 40% maybe. That's crazy. That is just absolutely boggles my mind that people don't see this as a real issue. All right, and then we have mental health and suicide. Suicide is a serious public health concern and one of the leading causes of death in the U.S. It occurs across all ages. All ages, economic, social, racial, and ethnic groups. And certain risk factors vary by factors like age, gender, and ethnic group. So, it's important to keep in mind that suicide is preventable. It is preventable. And it goes back to talking and listening and offering assistance and help. But it is preventable. Where are we at here? Family and community support and access to mental health care can decrease suicidal thoughts and behaviors, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And it's important to keep in mind that suicide, oops, I said that already. Here's a look at how suicide impacts individuals and communities in the U.S. Over 4 times as many men as women died by suicide. Suicide rates increased by 36% between 2000 and 2021. Oh, this one is full of static. Let me shake a dryer sheet in there. Suicide accounted for 48,183 deaths in 2021, which is approximately 1 death every 11 minutes. Wow. Chew on that one. An estimated 12.3 million adults in the U.S. seriously considered suicide in 2021, with 3.5 million planned suicide attempts and 1.7 million attempting suicide. Wow. All right, these are going to be difficult to get out of this bag. So I have a piece of dryer sheet in there, so that should help. Okay, so then we have provisional data suggests that nearly 50,000 people in the U.S. died from suicide in 2022, which is an increase, a 3% increase. And then suicide rates declined for men ages 34 and younger in 2022 and increased in males 35 and older. For women, suicide rates declined for those aged 24 and younger in 22 and increased for 25 and older. In 2022, suicide rates increased for nearly all races and Hispanic origin groups. Suicide rates for people in the ages 10 to 14, 15 to 24, and 25 to 34 fell by 18%, 9%, and 2% respectively from 21 to 22. However, rates increased 3 to 9% for all age groups 35 and older. And again, I will reiterate, if you or someone you know is experiencing a mental health condition, help is available and accessible. You can call or text 988 for free, confidential, and immediate help. You can also call 1-800-662-HELP. That's 4357 to access the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration 24/7. That's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So let me leave you with this. Mental health is a real thing, and don't ever just brush it under the rug. Always offer some help or assistance, because there is help available. So until the next video, have a fab day, everybody.